Welcome to CEO Check-In and happy Monday. My cat is kind of attacking me right now. I'm not really sure why, but I guess he doesn't think I should do CEO Check-In today or something. But sorry, you're not going to win, Ripley. I'm doing CEO Check-In. Here, I will pet you. So hope you had a good weekend. I was able to do a social distancing picnic last night. Hey, Maddie. Hey, Nicole. With some friends who I'm in a mastermind I'm in a mastermind with a few people. Ripley, you cannot bite me while I do CEO Check-In. So I was in the park. Say hello. This is Ripley, but he's not really helping CEO Check-In right now, so he's going down. I was in the park in Sheep Meadow, which if you've been there is on 67th Street, and met up with a bunch of women who I've been doing a mastermind with once a week since the quarantine. And it was so great to see them in person. We got to catch up, we got to drink wine, we stayed 6 feet apart, we wore a mask a lot of the time, but I'll tell you, no amount of Zoom replaces the energy of being with your friends. And that was just really sustaining and uplifting. And I hope that you've been finding ways of seeing your friends and family in person too, albeit in a safe way. So today we don't have a guest. We're going to do live coaching. On Wednesday we have a guest. I'm really excited to bring on Carleen Bobrin, who was one of our keynotes at the $1 Million Women Summit. And if you were lucky enough to hear her keynote, she covered a whole range of topics, from how did she scale from a small event planning business into becoming a multi-million-dollar event planning business based in New York City. She also has very diversified revenue streams. Hi, Rabia. Hey, Lori. And she shared how she has done investments, how she's made sure that she's not just an event planner, but has many other sources of revenue. And that's something that during this pandemic and recession, we all need to be thinking about, how not to be too reliant on any one source of income. So Carleen talked about that in her keynote at the $1 Million Women Virtual Summit. And she also talked about how she integrates her values into her company. She's very active in a nonprofit that helps women who have suffered from domestic violence to get to a better, safe place. And I have so much respect for that. That on top of running her company and being a great mom to her children, she also makes time to run this nonprofit. I'm not sure she runs it, but I think she's a key board member. So in any case, I hope you'll join me on Wednesday to hear from Carleen again when she comes on as my guest. We'll be posting it to Instagram stories so you get a little reminder, but I just wanted to give you guys the heads up since you're here with me today. And right now I'm going to be doing my Go Big tip. I've been sharing Go Big tips on these CEO check-ins so that you can just get a little boost of what top CEOs are doing to take their companies to success, even during this time. And right now, we're all being asked to make a lot of big decisions about our businesses. Where do we spend our money? Do we apply for loans? How do we make changes to our business in order to keep getting customers and stay viable and stay cutting edge, keep up with all the technology that has now become more important than ever? So when you're making a big decision, my Go Big tip is to do 3 things. The first thing is to really map out what this will do for your company. So before you make a big decision that's going to require spending money and making big changes, do an Excel spreadsheet. Write down all the changes it'll make. I don't care what format you use, but really map out, what would this do for my business? The second thing is ask for help. Because if you're making a big decision that's going to impact your business's future, you may never have done this before, but somebody out there has. So reach out to mentors, advisors, people who can help you with this big decision. And the third thing is make a bold move. If you're making a big decision and it kind of scares you, that's a good sign. Ripley just made a bold move right there. If you're making a big decision and doing something that kind of scares you, then that's a good sign. You're probably on the right track. I know that when I have to make big decisions, I can feel it kind of working itself in my gut, like, oh, this is scary, and I feel a little bit nauseous almost. And that usually means that it's a good decision, because it's only the things that scare us a little bit that push us forward. So when you're making a big, bold decision, I'm gonna get my cat down, because now he's chasing his tail, and that really is distracting. Ripley, you're gonna have to go in the bedroom, because you're too distracting. Here we go, okay. Let me try that again. When you're making a big decision, there are 3 things you need to think about. One is, what is that decision going to do for your company? So the first thing is map it out. Use a Google spreadsheet or write everything down in a Word document. What will happen if I make this decision? How will it change my company? Be very intentional about it. The second thing is, how do I ask for help? Because even though you've never done this thing before, somebody else has. So reach out to a mentor, an advisor, someone in your community to say, hey, have you ever done this? And what happened when you did this thing, when you made this decision that I'm about to make? And the third thing is, be bold. Because big decisions that can really be game changers for your company are scary. And that means you're probably on the right track. If something feels like this makes me nervous, I'm not sure I can do it, I've never done this before, that's a good sign. That's usually the very thing you need to do. I know that last night when I was at my picnic with my friends, I talked to them about an idea I had for my business that was really just an idea, and it seemed really kind of scary and too dangerous. But when I told these couple of friends about it, who are also entrepreneurs, they both said the same thing. They said, oh, I think that's a great idea. And then one of them said, that's a really good plan. I like that plan. And I was like, whoa, 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 it's not a plan yet. It's just an idea. But I think in voicing it, I realized it needs to become a plan. And that because it scared me and because I could barely talk about it without feeling really nervous, that's probably the very thing I need to do. So maybe take a minute to think about what's a big decision you need to make in your business right now about how to spend money, who to hire. Should you start that Instagram Live you've been talking about? Should you recruit this person you've been thinking about? Should you form that partnership? And how can you map it out, ask for help, and then do the big, bold thing that you know deep down you really want to do, but it just maybe feels a little too scary right now. Okay, that is the Go Big tip for today. That is the Go Big tip for today. And now I'm excited to see who would like to come on live with me and talk about what's going on in their own big decisions. I see a big decision maker here, Rabia. Thank you. She said, yay, sounds like a great picnic. Looking forward to meeting up now that I'm in New York City. I know, I'm so glad you're back. And congratulations on becoming an aunt. I'm so happy. Niece being born. Let's see what's going on with Rabia. We have been checking in with her on a regular basis about her coaching practice. Hi, Rabia.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Congratulations on your niece. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, I met her for the first time last night online, so I'm psyched.
Was she sleeping?
She was awake and she heard our voices, so she was kind of like opening her eyes. So
Oh, that's
yeah.
so exciting. That's wonderful. I hope you get to meet her in person sometime soon.
Oh my gosh, same here. We're counting down the days now. So
Amazing.
yeah.
And I'm just curious, when you heard me talking about the making a big decision, did any of
Yeah.
that resonate with you? You've made a lot of big decisions since the pandemic, right?
Oh my
You
gosh,
had never
yeah.
done anything virtual. You like ramped up your LinkedIn. You started making videos. So
Yes.
what,
Oh my
what,
gosh.
what spoke to you when I said that?
I've been a decision-making machine since I met you, Julia. So yeah, since February, I feel like that's what I've been doing. I think one of the things that actually has been on my mind for a while has been, as you know, for my business, I love focusing on helping executive leaders become better leaders and show up more powerfully and set the tone for the culture. And one of the things I've realized in my research is there's not a whole lot of executive level leadership development kind of distinct courses out there. And I've been wanting to launch an executive leadership mastermind to bring CEOs and other members of the C-suite together and learn those skills, because it's elevated. It is different from management training, right? And there's so many different stipulations. So my done decision that it's kind of hanging out here is I just need to do it because I have the content and I need to figure out how to do it online. But
does it scare you a little? That thing I said, the number 3, like be bold. Does it feel like a little scary here when you think about it?
It feels a little scary, and as you know, I'm a one woman show at this point, and I'm like, maybe this means the delegation ninja needs to come into play, like, because I don't
bring on the
have to have all
delegation ninja.
Yes,
we're ready for her.
Yes, I'm like, I think the thing that's overwhelming, actually, the scary part is, I'm like, shoot, I got to figure out what platform to use. There's so many options. Like, well, how do you record it? But I'm like, I don't need, like, there are already people out there who do that, or I can hire to do it, and that's not where I want to be spending my time learning the how of technology, to be honest.
Yes,
So,
and that's such a great
yeah,
insight that you don't have to figure out all the how. That's a lot of
yeah,
what stops people from making decisions is they
hmm,
go down this rabbit hole of thinking about all the hows, and the next thing
yeah,
you know, you feel totally paralyzed. In fact,
totally.
our mutual friend Carrie was helping me conceive of my $1 Million Women Coaches program that we're launching, and I'm super
Oh,
excited
cool.
about. But I remember
Yeah,
one of our first calls, she started listing off all the things we were going to have to create, and I
yeah.
actually said to her, "Wait, can you stop? Just stop," because I'm
It's
getting so
overwhelming.
overwhelmed, right? Just thinking
Yeah,
about all those things. And I had to remind myself, like, okay, well, at one point I didn't have any of that for Masterclass. And now we do have a
yeah,
portal, a team, mentors, ways of logging in, getting all your stuff automatically, a payment system.
yes.
Like, but when you hear all those things up front, it's very overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. And I think you said something really important. You're not the first person who's done it. So it's like, how do you can
Tap into it.
leverage experience. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
And
So,
yet it's a piece we often skip, right? As entrepreneurs, we tend to be
yeah,
like, well, I have the idea, now I have to execute
I
on
have
it.
to figure it out.
Right?
Yeah,
Instead of like
yeah,
calling somebody up. In fact, one of our advisors at $1 Million Women, well, in fact, two of
yeah.
them have built coach programs for coaches,
Wow.
exactly what we're
Hmm.
building. And,
Yeah,
I have to sometimes slow down, stop and remind myself, like, wait, make that phone call because he's
yeah,
actually done this very thing. And in fact, one
yeah.
of our advisors was so generous that we had a call about it. And he said, well, do
Hmm.
you want to just get on a call every 3 weeks and like run these ideas by me? I was like,
That's
yes,
great.
please. Yes.
Yeah,
Right? So
totally.
you never know. Maybe someone who you're going to call is going to be like, wow, I love what you're building. How can I be involved? Right? You were just looking for a little
Exactly.
help and you might wind up with an advisor.
Totally, totally. And it's the irony, right, of being a coach and then also because we're human, experiencing the same kind of questions and concerns. And just Friday, I was working with one of my clients who's an executive for a retail company, and I was like, well, um, let's call him John. I was like, John, I was like, you're bringing up all these really great ideas. Why don't you share your concerns with the CEO? And he goes, well, if I bring it up, I feel like I have to be the one who has a solution for it, and I don't have one. I was like, no, just because you're the idea generator doesn't mean you need to know all the answers. Throw it out to the group. There's wisdom in the room, you know?
Totally. What
So
great advice. And sometimes we have to remind ourselves of that, right?
I
That's
have to do that
important.
all the time. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I love
totally.
that. Well, and
Yeah,
also when we were talking the other day about the videos that you're making, right? And the
yes,
challenges of, kind of entering into this other persona of like the person
yes,
on the video, which, we all
yeah,
have a slightly different persona on video. We
yeah,
were talking about how that then gives you more empathy for the people you coach because you're
yes,
asking them to take on new leadership practices, have hard
totally.
conversations, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the thing I remember sharing with you, like it's the growth pains, so to speak, are knowing that this is something I'm not fluent in yet, or I'm not good at. I don't, in fact, know if I'm going to become some video expert, but it's like that. Oh, I just want to be good at it all of a sudden, but it's not the world that I've been operating in. And you're right, it's totally, is sometimes we forget, what is it? My friend told me, it's hard to read the label when you're sitting inside the jar. So
Yes, we're kind of
it's like
stuck in our own little reality, right? And we
in
don't
our
know
reality.
how to step
Yeah,
out of that to try something different.
totally, totally. So
Well,
I know
I
I
know you're
just,
going to rock it, and I can't wait to see your videos. Wait, I think we may have to renew our fist bump vows.
we need to, yes,
Okay, you ready? When am I going to
yes.
see those videos before I do the fist bump?
You are going to see those videos at the end of this week.
Yay! Okay,
Is
fist
that
bump. Can't wait to see
fist
the
hump?
videos. Excellent.
Thank
I'm
you.
so excited. You have so much to share and teach. And I love your new idea of the mastermind. I think that's really,
Thank
really
you.
cool. And you have so many people right in our community, me for starters, but a lot of other women in our community who are
Yeah,
coaches, who've done online programs.
yeah.
B, who's in masterclass right now, just took her business helping women do at-home repair from
Oh,
being
yeah.
fully offline to being
Yeah.
fully virtual, right? In the
That's amazing.
in the
Yeah.
space of a month, and she's loving it and making lots of money. And I just talked to a graduate, I interviewed her on Friday, who did in-person body and pole dances. Sorry,
Oh, cool.
classes, not dances,
Uh-huh.
classes. Like, do you know about that? Like where there's a pole and you learn all
Oh,
these
I've
like,
done it before.
oh, you've
Yeah.
done it. So cool. I watched her do it. I'm like, I cannot do that, but it looks really cool. So she
I'm
was
definitely
teaching
a
that.
beginner.
It's very
Yeah.
hard. She was teaching that in person, and then she brought it online and created an
Oh,
app
wow.
and has made $100,000 in 3 months.
Good for her. That
right?
is
So
incredible.
amazing.
Yeah.
So like people
Yeah.
are doing this and
Yeah.
you're just as smart as they are, right? But it's just about like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to make that big decision. Like, as you were saying, the done decision, which is something I talk
Totally.
about in my new book, and just
Yeah.
make it happen. You know, have the
Make it
fear and do
happen.
it anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. And honestly, I have that, like, I need to just write that out along with that Rumi quote, Julia, because I think that's whatever, just do it, right? You got nothing
It's
to
okay
lose.
to have
So,
fear, just don't let it stop you, right?
yeah,
Well, I
exactly.
can't wait to see
Exactly.
what you'll create. Keep us posted, and thanks for
Thank
going
you.
live.
Awesome. Thanks for
Have a
having me on.
great
Always
day.
great to see you.
Bye, Rabia. Talk soon.
Bye.
Yes, so Rabia has started making videos to help people understand what her coach offerings are. And we were working on her script, and the script was like very academic in a way. And I know that I can do that too. I kind of tend towards the formal. But when you're making a video, it really needs to be very conversational, very like I'm talking to you in your living room, right? I don't know where you're watching this right now. You might be like online at the supermarket, or you might be just taking a 5-minute break in the kitchen. You know, you don't want to hear anything too formal, too complicated. And that can be hard, you know, when you're a professional, when you're a seasoned executive like Rabia is. She's had tons and tons of training. And after all, people pay her to say very high level professional things as a coach. But then when you're making a video, it's just a whole other tone. So that's something that we were talking about. And I cannot wait to see her videos. And if you're watching this, please help me in liking them and sharing them when she posts them. We saw the fist bump. They're happening by the end of the week. So we'll look out on her Instagram to be able to share those videos, Rabia. When you're thinking about making a decision, the other thing to keep in mind is that the worst decision you can make is no decision. And this is something that is very tempting because when you have a big decision to make, there's so many factors at play, right? How much money am I going to spend? How much time is it going to take? Do I have the right team? What if I make the wrong decision? What are the consequences of the wrong decision? But I find that if you spend too much time in those fears, that no decision gets made. And that is the worst thing you could possibly do. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you're just learning all the time. Any decision you make just gives you new information. And of course, it doesn't feel good when you put something out there on social media and it doesn't get that many likes, or you launch a new program and not very many people sign up. I'm not saying you need to be Pollyanna, you know, and oh, it's all fine, it doesn't matter. You know, you might feel some pain and some rejection if you make a decision that doesn't lead where you hoped, but you will absolutely get information. And that information is invaluable. So when you're done kind of having your little pity party, which you get to have, right? You can have a pity party for like an hour or maybe a day and a night. But then the next day, okay, that was a gift, right? Whenever we get any kind of less than happy feedback on our programs, it hurts. But then we say, okay, this is a gift, because if this one person was feeling this way, then chances are a lot of other people were feeling that way too, and they just didn't express it. And the reason it's a gift is that now we have the opportunity to fix it. And if you don't find out what's not working about your programs or your services or your products, how can you fix it? At the end of the day, we're all just problem solvers as entrepreneurs. And so if you're not solving the problem your customer has, or you're not solving it in a way that works for them, the only thing to do is to find a new way to solve it or find a better way to solve it. And you're probably not going to come up with that way just from lying on your couch and thinking about it, right? Getting that feedback from your customers is a gift. So that's one thing to consider when you're making a decision, a big decision, is whatever I decide, I can always course correct, right? If it turns out I didn't make the right decision, I can always course correct. Oh, and I see we have some new people joining us. If it's your first time on CEO Check-In, we're talking about how people can be scaling their businesses right now, even during the pandemic and this recession, and finding creative ways to keep moving forward and being successful. I share one go big tip every single CEO Check-In. If you want to hear the other ones, you can check out my YouTube channel, Julia Pimsleur Coach on YouTube, and we have posted all of the CEO check-ins on there, and they're also here on Instagram. So you have two ways of finding those. And for the person who just joined us, we do some live coaching. I just coached Rabia about her coaching business. She coaches executive coaches. And if you'd like to join us, I don't know how to pronounce your handle, WDOUKMAAK. Maybe just put in the comments if you'd like to go live. And if you would, we can do a little bit of live coaching here. We're talking today about how do you make a big decision in your business, because the decisions we make right now in our businesses are going to have an impact for months and years to come. And since I lived through the 2008 recession, and I was a business owner then, I know that there were some silver linings to the decisions I made during that time. For instance, it was easier to hire people during a slowdown or recession because there weren't as many jobs. You could find good talent. It was easier to experiment because the expectations were not as high as during a time when everything you do needs to be, a knockout success. Well, during a slowdown time like this, if you don't have massive success and you have, let's say, investors or advisors or whatever, you have a little bit more leeway to play around. And then the last thing I'd have you think about is what business models can you play with right now during this recession, which maybe can lead to some additional revenue that could be really useful, but also might be things you'll want to keep in your business even when things pick back up. We have a couple of stylists in our community who had only been working one-on-one with women, going to their houses, going shopping with them, very hands-on, very in-person work. And each of them in different ways started using Instagram Live, making videos, having online gatherings in order to engage their customers in a different way. And in both cases, they're not going to go back, even when we can meet in person again, to doing just in-person meetings, because they kind of like working with women across the country. They kind of like getting on the radar of new partners and sponsors who want to work with them. So what could you try right now that's something maybe you thought of, like, oh, maybe I should do an online course or create an online course, or maybe I should try going live on Instagram, like this, but you were too busy or you weren't quite sure what it would lead to. Maybe put it through that 3-step process I talked about earlier of, map out what it would bring to you, see if that seems worth it, ask for help and advice from someone who's already done it, and then be bold. Do the thing that scares you a little bit, because usually that's the thing you want to do anyway. And if you just go for it, you'll find that there is no wrong decision, right? All decisions lead to moving forward, which is the best thing we can do as an entrepreneur. And if it turns out it didn't get the results you wanted, you can always course correct and try something different later. Okay, let's see if our new guest wants to go live. And Rabia says, oh, thank you. Haha. Yes, need to work on my consultant speak. I'm trying to remember what language you used. I think it was something like, in these turbulent times, right, we as leaders need to step up. And it was great language. And when you write your book, I hope you put that in it. It just wasn't great language for video. So, and we did have a video expert on here. If you want to learn more about what you should be thinking about when you make videos. One of my guests was Cheryl Tan, who is a graduate of our $1 Million Women Masterclass and very active in our community. Her entire business is helping small business owners make better use of video. Some of us love video. I was a filmmaker and film major in college and in grad school, so I like using video. But for some people, it's a bit intimidating. It's a bit scary. It's a bit hard. And so if you need some help with that, Cheryl Tan might be a great resource for you. So I'd say go to my YouTube channel, Julia Pimsleur Coach, and look for the CEO check-in where she was a guest, Cheryl Tan, and watch that video. It's just 20-25 minutes to get lots of good tips, and you can reach out to her if you want more help. Oh, right, tectonic shifts, Rabia just reminded me, that's what it says. We are experiencing tectonic shifts, which I can't even say right now, so I don't know how you were going to say that in your video. Say that 3 times fast. Tectonic shifts, tectonic shifts, tectonic shifts. Yeah, I can't get through 3 of those. Maybe that's a good test. If you're wondering if the language you wrote for your video is approachable and relatable, maybe try saying it 3 times fast. And if you can't, maybe try saying it a simpler way. Okay, I don't think WDOUK Mac, I'm going to try to say that, Wuduk Mac wants to go live because I didn't get a little message from you. So we're going to wrap up CEO Check-In. Just a quick reminder that on Wednesday, our guest is Carleen Bobrin, who was a speaker at the $1 Million Women Summit. She runs a multi-million-dollar event company and is going to share with us about how to build multiple revenue streams in a downturn, because that is what she has done, is build a multi-million-dollar business that includes event planning, online meetups, investing, and a few more things I can't remember right now. So please join us on Wednesday to learn more about how you can do the same. And I'm excited to have her back with us. She was terrific at the $1 Million Women Summit. So have a great afternoon. Make sure to use my 3-step process for making your next big decision, and stay brave. I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.